now be placed into conference. There are 24 participants in the conference.
As soon as the beat stops.
Okay.
Call the meeting to order and roll call, please.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Lauren Jones.
Here.
Mark Springer.
Here.
Nicholas Miller. Christopher Heine.
Here.
Bruce Schulte.
Here.
Also present, Glenn Klinkart, Interim Director. Kerry Craig, with Records and Licensing Supervisor, and Joan Wilson, Attorney General.
All right. Thank you, Director. Okay, we are moving along with new retail store applications. The next one is license 22716, Cannabliss. Are you here?
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Good morning. We're looking for Cannabliss.
I'm sorry?
We're looking. This is the Marijuana Control Board, and we are looking for Cannabliss, new retail application.
That is me, sir.
Okay, very good. Hang on 1 second. We have a motion on application or license 22716 Cannabliss.
Motion to approve license 716 Cannabliss.
Second by Schulte. Okay, good morning. Go ahead and introduce yourself to us, and just give us a quick once-over.
Members of the board, good morning. This is Mr. Wells on behalf of Mr. Vito Ungaro with Cannabliss. Mr. Ungaro, if you would introduce yourself to the board members, please.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Vito Ungaro.
Okay, good morning. And you're applying for a new retail there in Anchorage?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're, let's see, you've got an objection from the city of Anchorage. You're still waiting on some paperwork, zoning and stuff, so that'll be the delegation. Okay, so you own the property that the building's on, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So you're going from used cars to cannabis?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've been in the business 37 years, so maybe try something new.
Sure. No, gotcha. Okay, very good. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant? Seeing a lot of head shaking here. Are we ready to vote? Okay, on Cannabliss license 22716, new retail marijuana store in Anchorage with delegation. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Heine?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Well, backwards here. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Yes. There you go, Vinny.
Thank you
Vito.
all.
I'm sorry, Vito. I was thinking of the new
That's
city
okay.
manager. City manager. Vinny. All right. Good deal. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yep. You bet. MCC Plate out of Wasilla. First be jumping up in the room. MC Light on the line. MCC Flight for new retail in Wasilla. MCC Flight, are you on yet? We'll give them, we'll come back to them if we ever get done with these new products. Okay, good sense for new product manufacturing. All right. Is Enlightened Extractions here? Okay.
Did you guys just call MCC?
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Oh yeah, you guys are down there. I forgot.
Janet Waldstein, attorney for Enlightened Extractions.
Leah Leventon, owner of Enlightened Alaska, Enlightened Extractions, Enlightened Greenery.
Okay, good morning. Can we get a motion for license 21552, new product manufacturing facility?
Move to approve license 21552, Enlightened Extractions.
Mr. Schulte, there's a second.
Second.
And Mr. Miller, and that's with delegation. Okay, good morning. Go ahead and you told us who you are, but tell us your story.
My name is Leah. We're a family-owned business with my mom and my brother. We currently own Enlighten Alaska, a retail shop located in Anchorage. We've been operational for just about 3 years now. February 2nd will be our 3-year anniversary. And we are looking to expand so we can become vertically integrated with the cultivation and manufacturing.
Okay.
Yeah. Right here we have Jonathan Weisman joining us, project manager, head extractor.
Okay.
Is there anything else, any questions about our backstory or our history you'd be interested in?
No. How many products you ask? You ask for product approval today?
57. 54.
You don't have a spreadsheet, do you?
Are
they okay?
Actually,
quickly,
we did have a spreadsheet. We didn't submit it.
Quickly, what's the variety? Concentrates, edibles. What else?
So there's a group of edible products like your candies, your caramels, your brownie bites, those kinds of things. And then there's a group of drinks, Bliss, let's see, Nectar, and a couple other ones, and then your basic concentrates. Okay. Yes. And capsules, those kinds of things.
Okay, and some of those, some of the concentrates are your base products?
We have 7 base products.
Okay, why don't you, have you got your own list there?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I have the MJ05.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
I only counted 44 products as I listed them out. A couple of them appeared to be either the same. I wasn't sure. Mm-hmm. One of the things, this one and the one we skipped over, it would be helpful if, and I understand why a new manufacturer would ask for all of them up front as opposed to only the first 8 or 9 that they might actually produce in the first year, because they don't want to pay the fee to do the other ones. But it would be nice if these were listed so that all of the concentrates that were base products were the first things, were the first products, and then followed by anything that used those products, because this goes all over.
Yes.
And it's very difficult for me to talk about what page things are on, because I'm sure that my iPad may be different from everybody else. But like the distillate oil, which I think is product 13, then they have a distillate oil that I counted as the 16th product. One's on page 41, one's on page 52. To me, look identical. Sort of Enlighten caps and nano caps look identical except for a change in the name. I couldn't tell what made them different. But, you know, they go all over. And, you know, shatter is number 36, and yet if you look at product number 1, one of the concentrates they might use is shatter. So, you know, it took me a while to find the base product. It was really confusing and very hard. And I don't have any specific comments that would, other than a few, but, you know, to say no to, but it was just really difficult to go over.
And Leah could give an overview of the products, too.
Well, why don't you, one thing I'm usually interested in is beverages. So what do you have in mind for beverages? Do you have any carbonated beverages, or is it going to be soft bottles, or what do you got going on for beverages?
Not quite carbonated. We wanted to get some products in that we felt comfortable doing some R&D on first. But we have a couple of options, like a lemonade, a milk, a creamer, a couple drink products like that. Lemonade, milk, creamer, and cold brew coffee. Yeah. Those seem to be the simplest to start out with in comparison to maybe some other options like sparkling water, where you have to figure out some mechanism for child-proof, resealable. That was, you know, we weren't ready to breach that quite yet.
Okay. All right. Well, let me ask Mr. Jones this. Do you have any problem with just a blanket motion and pulling some things you got questions about? Okay. Okay, somebody want to make a motion to approve the MJ08 with, extractions? he'll have some he'll want to talk about. MJ05, I'm sorry, yeah, MJ05. Yeah.
Motion to approve MJ05 for license 21552.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
And are there any, particular items you'd like to discuss, Mr. Jones, or anybody else? You'd like to pull out of that?
Yeah, distillate oil, it's good as product 13, enlightened cap, and enlightened cap, enlightened drop, enlightened nano drop, enlightened mist, and nano mist, which was soft, and then 43 was Turk Dart. Not sure it's soft Turk. Soft chews 106 and soft chews 106. So Turk Dart, Soft Dart, other ones.
Okay.
The ones that I had some real specific questions.
Great. Okay, well, let's go through go ahead, Mr. Jones. We've got a second on the motion, so go ahead.
Well, on a lot of the ones that I don't have problems with, they full list of concentrates, peanut butter, coconut oil, coconut liquid, shatter, distillate, crumble, butter, tea, tincture, sauce, some of which they have in here and some of which they don't. The distillate oil, the first one, and then the second one, I wasn't sure if that was maybe they can start with that one.
Let's start with distillate oil.
Sure, go ahead.
So distillate oil is our in-house product that we'll be using to, we won't be selling that retail. That'll be either sold wholesale or used internally. I think that, I'm not sure about the third one down, but we also have a distillate oil cartridge and a distillate oil dart, which is like it's put into like a syringe.
So it's the same base product, it's just a different packaging, so we put it as a different product.
To be sold in retail.
With a different product name.
And that's a combustible concentrate.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
So the distillate oil, the first one we did standard production, so it'll be sort of container.
Oh, it was right there. Oh. This is a repeat.
I mean, those two, 41.
They are.
The one had a flavor list, right?
Page 41.
yeah, that looks like that was just a duplicate. There was two of them in there. Okay. Yeah, good question.
Yep.
Pardon me, through the chair, Mr. Jones, if you could press your mic, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thought I was screaming loud enough, but apparently not.
So yeah, those two are duplicates. That there was a lot of products. And then your next question was about enlightened caps, or
You have enlightened caps, enlightened drops, and enlightened mist, and then you have nano caps, nano drops, and nano mist. And as I remember reading them and what my notes say, I couldn't tell why one was labeled nano and one wasn't. It didn't show up in the labeling. It didn't show up in the description of how you produce the product. So what's the difference? And how can a consumer and enforcement know what's what?
I'm Jonathan, and I did help a lot with a lot of the creation of these products. And when it comes to our nano varieties versus the standard variety, it really comes down to the homogenization method. And something that's nano is usually a lot more high shear, and it breaks down to be a lot more smaller molecules. It has to do with like how you absorb it, and in general, it's just a slightly different mixture method. It does create a different product. Like it will be the nano caps use the. That's what we had, like the. If you look at the label, like Canna Liquid, that will be the cannabis concentrate we use for infusing it. That's where you do the homogenization with the high shear.
Yeah, so you'll see on page 69, there's actually a different ingredient in the ingredients versus the regular enlightened caps.
It was oil. Regular caps.
Oil. Right.
Any more questions there, Mr. Jones? On any of those products? You got the answer you're looking for?
I guess the other one was sauce, which I show on page 100, the sauce dart on 98, the terp darts on 43, or on I think maybe page 124. I couldn't tell if there was a difference between the sauce darts and terp darts, and
these are definitely very similar products, and I can see where the confusion comes from. But so sauce itself is going to be a sellable product, but also like a base product for deriving into other things. So you can sell sauce, which is going to have two pretty distinct constituents, which is going to be a very liquidy portion and a very hard crystalline portion, and those are very easily separatable. And so we can take that, and if we sell it all as one, that would be sauce. And if we decided to separate it, we could have what we call an HTFSE, or we could have like a crystalline or a diamond. And that HTFSE can be used purely alone. Some people, though, don't prefer a higher THC content, so we might choose to mix it with distillate, and then that would be like a sauce cart, because we're adding THC back to it. And if we're just selling it alone, we had our terp dart, because it's a very high terpene content, like concentrate. And the same thing with our crystalline and diamonds. Those start off as sauce, and we separate the HTFSE, and we would have our product either diamond or crystalline. And those are very similar as well. I don't know if those were going to come up, just simply because crystalline is, I mean, it looks different. It's more like sand compared to diamond. You get like individual rock chunks, and we feel those are very separate.
And you do show a product, HTFSE, as an in-house wholesale.
Yes,
and
for
then you
well.
then you label the sauce cartridge, and you have the distillate oil and HTFSE combined.
Correct. And that's like, because sauce itself is that diamond, like I was talking about, or crystalline with the HTFSE. And when you want to put it into a cartridge, you can't put those diamonds into a cartridge. And so you have to turn them into distillate, which is a pretty simple process in like that setting. And it's the same type of product, it's just now we've turned it into a liquidy form that we can put into a cartridge.
So how many of these 50, whatever you say, or 40 some that I say, are you interested in producing in the next year?
As far as like the concentrates go, and I mean any of them, a lot of that differences just comes down to like texturally, and that can happen from product quality to differences in our procedure, and so like shatter to crumble to sauce to any of those end concentrate products. As far as like the edibles go, we do want to come pretty hard in with the candies, a couple of baked goods, and drinks we hope to come up with this year, but it would be closer towards the end of the year.
Okay. And then my last question is, the staff raised an issue in the original memo, whether the last product, tonic, was an acceptable product. Maybe staff can explain why they asked that question, because I wasn't sure whether they thought it was an adulterated product or exactly what, but I wasn't exactly sure what tonic was, but I know staff raised the issue.
So when I can, if through the chair, I can brief everybody on that question. It's in the memo, and it's 30655E, and 30655E reads, a marijuana product manufacturing facility may use food-grade glycerin, ethanol, and propylene glycol solvents to create extracts. All ethanol must be removed from the extract in a manner to recapture the solvent to ensure that it is not vented into the atmosphere. And so I don't think that this regulation is applicable to tonic. I mean, tonic is a product that we've had in the industry for a long time. I think what this is referring to is not venting ethanol gas into the atmosphere because that could be toxic. That's my understanding of this regulation, but if staff has a different interpretation, I'd be interested.
It's a process regulation. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's for production.
It's a technical regulation. And so, where did this come up?
In the staff report, it says, is tonic compliant with 30655E?
Right, but, you know, the question is as long as you're using an approved closed-loop system, right, you're capturing all your ethanol back, and tonic is just basically a tincture. Where did the question come up? You know,
no, I hadn't heard of it until I looked at the memo, and so I just looked at the regulation, tagged it, so I was able to address it.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that would come up.
And tonic is on page 127 of your MJO5.
Yeah, it's the last item on here. So, I mean, the question whether tonic itself tonic's just a tincture, is a mixture. There's no manufacturing process involving a tonic. The manufacturing process is in making the concentrate, which was that concentrate one of the ones that Mr. Jones was asking about?
No, it's not that I think that he was I don't think he was asking about the concentrate here.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
If you look at the ingredients are food-grade ethanol, cannabis flour and trim, cannabis concentrate, and then parentheses is a list of possible essential oils. Actual flavor and cannabis concentrate used will be clearly indicated in the final product. And cannabis flour and trim or concentrate is heated. Cannabis is steeped like tea in alcohol to extract the active compound. So it doesn't look like the alcohol is removed. And while it's food-grade alcohol, I assume that it has to have there. When you look at the label, the ingredients are grain alcohol, natural flavors, and cannabis concentrate. I don't know that leaf and flour is a concentrate, but that certainly is part of the product list, not listed as either any of the ingredients. So I assume that's maybe why staff put that in there as a question. Staff hasn't answered yet, so I'm just speculating.
So the ethanol, this is a tincture. It's concentrate mixed with alcohol, right?
Right. So this is something that's been.
So where it says food grade ethanol, I believe that a bottle of Everclear describes itself as ethanol. I think it's been a long time since I've held a bottle of Everclear in my hands. But so when you say the ingredient is food grade ethanol, you really mean alcohol.
Right. I mean, almost all the tinctures that are on the shelves have the ethanol in them.
Right.
With the marijuana concentrate, because it's not like you're consuming it like a shot. It's dropped.
Right. But the extraction process, which is actually steeping, right, to make if I read this right,
steeping and homogenizing
the alcohol to extract the active compounds. If mixing tincture using flour trim, the plant matter is removed. Okay, so run us through real quick. Tell us how you make this stuff.
So, I mean, with the sample label we had there, we definitely wrote cannabis concentrate, but we still kind of wanted to have the ability to make a flour tincture as well, and we feel it's a very similar product to making it with a concentrate. So if it's like a concentrate, that's just a simple stir. If it's with actual, like, herbs and flour, like, that's going to just take steeping it and removing it and then stirring. So it's both very similar.
Yeah, so it's not you're not using a pressure loop or nothing.
Not to actually make.
You're not using ethanol.
Yeah, this could be done in like a pot.
It's like a pot.
Yeah. So I think this is real similar to other tinctures that we've approved.
It is like identical to several.
I can understand how staff would have caught staff's eye. So what do you think about that, Mr. Jones?
I'm just asking questions. I'm not sure I understand any of it. So.
Okay, well go ahead and ask more questions.
It's clear to me that there's a lot out there that I will never understand. And, you know, I guess if we approve it, they can sell it. So I have a, you know, that's sort of my question. I want to make sure I understand what I'm approving, given that this is going to be used by human beings, and want to make sure that their health and safety is complied with, and that our rules are complied with. And I find this difficult in that a lot of these products, as they've described, if the manufacturing process doesn't go one way, or if it goes one way, it's called this, and if it goes another way, it's called that, and if they run it through a filter, it's called they, and, you know, when you have a single process that ends up with 10 different products based on what they do, I sort of just find that difficult. Crystalline and Diamonds and several other manufacturers that are on our list do the same thing. The pictures look the same, but I have no idea what they might look like if they ended up in Mr. Miller's shop. So I'm just trying to ask questions to try to understand.
Can I just make a comment?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
It's very similar. It's like if you're in a kitchen and you're making eggs, you can have scrambled eggs, over easy eggs, omelets, and it's all, you crack eggs into a pan, and it's just how your steps work.
Well, it's an agricultural product, so things do come out differently, and one thing that we've seen enforcement have a struggle with is that if they can't identify the product by name because maybe it changed, and so maybe somebody didn't have wax approved, but it came out waxy, and so they sold it as wax. That's hard for enforcement to be able to track. So what we've tried to do is really capture every scenario where this product would come out different, so that when it goes into production, they send a picture to enforcement, they plug it into their spreadsheet, and that way enforcement has a easier time understandably being able to identify these products. So that's our intent. I understand it's a little bit difficult to follow. Trust me, I drove these guys nuts with this one because I just, you know, it's hard to wrap my head around some of these concepts as well.
Through the chair, I did hear from staff. So according to staff, it seems like the regulation reads to them that there shouldn't be any ethanol in the end product, and that they said that Mr. Jones and Mr. Springer were kind of on the right track with their questions. That's kind of how they were interpreting it.
Sure. I thought we were going in two different directions. So yeah, Ms. Schulte.
I would have to agree though with Ms. Welting that, you know, ethanol as a, you know, delivery vehicle or, you know, a portion of the final product is fairly common. So
I always interpret that regulation to mean the extraction process, like when it's being vented, when it comes off gases, that there was a way to capture it so it didn't off-gas the atmosphere. That was my understanding.
Through the chair. Yeah, and when you read both of those parts of E, they're almost, depending on how you interpret them, they're almost opposite of each other, saying that you may use, but that's for creating the extracts, but then ethanol must be removed. And so I can see where the interpretation is, well, you're putting it in, just here to take it out, but what I'm understanding is that this is part of the process, not the final product, and if this board has approved food-grade ethanol, then this is kind of like an ingredient after it's been created. I'm on the right track? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions about any of the products? Okay, you apart from the tonic, you're pretty good with everything else, Mr. Jones?
Yeah, I guess for right now.
All right. Okay, then
I guess one question wasn't asked. Page 106 is soft chews. Page 109 is soft chews.
I think that's a double.
That's a double. So there's two doubles in here.
Two doubles.
The distillate oil and the soft chews.
Yep, we'll remove those and resend to staff.
Okay, that should be part of the delegation then.
Okay, trying to think how to do this because I don't know if I wrote fast enough. Why don't I just read the ones that I have, and if I missed any, Mr. Jones go ahead and sing out. So, all those in favor of approving distillate oil, number 13 and 16, Lighten caps, nano caps, Lighten drops, nano drops, and Lighten mist, nano mist, items 34, 35, 43, soft chews, and I wrote 106 through 109. I think that's the tonic, isn't it?
106, 109 is soft chews.
Oh, 106, 109 is soft chews.
Tonic was last,
Okay. And tonic, so was that everything I got?
I believe so.
Okay. All those in favor of approving those signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, and on the main motion to approve the MJ05, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, very good. Then, are there any other questions on the overall application?
There's no motion on the table on the overall
I
application.
believe you're correct. No, yeah, well, is it? Yeah.
I think that was the original motion.
The original motion was to approve. Then we had a motion for the license. Didn't we have a motion for the MJ05 also, with some taken out? Do we have two motions or one?
I motioned the MGA.
I count that there was the one motion to approve
Okay,
the
so
delegation, and it was seconded.
I got a Bruce and Nick that I think was for the license, and then we took up the MJ05, and we pulled out those other ones. So why don't you go ahead and move the MJ05 again?
Motion to approve the MJ05 for license 21552.
And there's a second.
Second.
Okay. And we've discussed it. So all those in favor of approving the MJ05 for license 21552 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, very good. The MJ05 is approved. Are there any other questions on the application itself?
I do have questions, not
Sure,
really for the application, though. I'd actually like to visit the manufacturing shop sometime. I mean, it sounds pretty interesting, and I have no experience at all with any of it.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. We stepped into a really beautiful space. We'll open our doors for you where, I remember in 2015 when I was starting to learn the steep learning curve of the legal industry, one thing really caught my attention, and it was in a conference that I went to, and they said you have to be 100% compliant, not 99%. And so that's something it's really important to us, and we'd love to show you all the ways that we are working in this industry responsibly and in a compliant manner. So doors are wide open for not only you, but the entire board and the director as well, and anybody that'd like to come visit. We would really love to show you guys our place and our processes and our ideas, and chat with you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, first great.
One random question. Is it Jonathan?
Yes.
Jonathan. What is your background?
Like, what did I do before the industry, or is that what you're asking?
You seem quite knknowledgeable on these products. So I was intrigued.
You can speak frankly.
I mean, no, it's
no,
it's not a trick
actually,
question.
I have a lot of sales,
impressed.
customer service background.
Okay.
All of everything with the cannabis has been personal passion.
Uh-huh. So you're obviously pretty familiar with these various processes and equipment and stuff. Cool. I would love to see the tour sometime too when you guys are up and running.
Okay, very good. All right, no more questions? Then on license 21552, Enlighten Extractions, new product manufacturing facility. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes, so there you go. Let's,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Just turn the phone back on for a second. Let's see if, they are, thank you. Right on. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to the phone.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Okay, good morning. We're looking for MCC Flight.
Hi, this is Chad Ragsdale.
Hey, good morning. All right. Back here to you. All right, we have a motion for license number 23122 MCC Flight, new retail.
Motion to approve license 23122 MJ Flight.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schulte. Okay, good morning. Go ahead and introduce yourself to us and tell us what you got going on.
Hi, my name's Chad Ragsdale, and we're going to open our second shop out here in Wasilla. I'm a part owner, Matanuska Cannabis Company out here. We have 2 licenses already, a retail license and a limited cultivation. And this will be our second location. My second location.
Okay, when are you guys' second location? Okay. Out in Wasilla. And we got Matt Suburo protesting for conditional use permit only. Okay.
Yeah, my meeting with them is in March.
All right.
Shut the fuck up, dude. My hands are so bad.
Those are your dogs in the background?
That is not me, no.
It's not you. So, okay, whoever's got dogs barking, go ahead and mute your phone, would you? Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. What?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Question, you mentioned that you are part owner of a couple other licenses. Then you said this is the second location. So the license 14,200 and 14,199 show listed as Matanuska Cannabis Company. This license 23,122 is Alaska Pipe Dreams.
LLC, yeah, it's my wife and I are the only owners on this one.
Okay, so while it is a second location, you are opening this as a separate license company.
Entity, yes. Yes, this will be a second entity that I'll be. My wife and I'll be full owners here. My partner.
Okay, you just partners on the other 2 licenses.
Yeah, we took a vote and they decided not to come along on this license. So my wife and I are doing it on our own.
All right. Okay. You guys own the property yourselves. You're leasing it yourselves.
We own the property ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on MCC Flight? Okay, not seeing any. To approve MCC Flight License 23122 new retail in Wasilla. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Jaime, yes. So there you go.
I appreciate it. Can I have a moment just to thank the staff? This was a very quick process this time, and I wanted to thank the board, and I appreciate everything. It's been good.
Thank you. I know they appreciate those kind words.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Good Sense, you on the line? Or Good Sense.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Good morning. Okay, we've got a motion for license 14874, Good Sense, new product manufacturing in Fairbanks.
Motion to approve license 14874, Good Sense.
Hey, there's a second. Second. Mr. Schulte. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
I forgot your name.
Daniel. Okay, that's not important.
Okay, so you want to add a manufacturing into your operation. How many products do you have?
1 million.
We'll do 5.
5? Oh, that won't work at all. 5 million?
Okay. All right. Let's fight our way through that. Okay. So why don't you briefly outline your product spectrum for us?
Okay, several of the products that are on the list are for my on-site consumption venue, and that's opening in April, so it'd be nice to get a lot of that.
What products are those going to be?
I've got edibles, and they're like anything that you're seeing in a 2-ounce bottle or a 2-ounce version. There's often like, you know, coffees, you're going to see juices. Small dose edibles.
Okay. No combustible concentrates.
No, that's not allowed.
Okay, so what are your base products?
Our base product
for your oils. What do you make?
Definitely all of butane hash oil, and we got all the CO2 oils, and all of those regular standard concentrates you've been seeing for years are going to come into play as the base products for a lot of these. But ethanol alcohol is the easiest, quickest. So we do a lot of stuff into distillate from that.
But you're using that for distilling, not as a carrier.
Right. And then once you have that distilled oil, that goes into a pretty good majority of our products.
Right. Okay. Do we have a motion for the MJ05? And we can start taking it apart if we need to. Sure we will.
Motion to approve MJ05 for license 14874, Good Sense LLC.
Second by Mr. Schulte. Okay, I will defer to Mr. Jones. Anything you want to take out of there, Mr. Jones? We have a motion to approve the license, and we got a motion to do the MJ05 and then take stuff out.
I understand. I didn't hear the motion to approve the program, so. I just have a lot of questions, again, related to a lot of the ingredients. Like, they have chocolate bar. They have 3 of them. One has infused coconut oil. One has distillate. One has keef. And we've gone back and forth as a board whether or not they can have a list of ingredients, flavors or concentrates or whatever, but there are several in here in which the chocolate covered caramels, one has distillate, the second product uses keef. The one question I have is on donuts. It talked about an infused vegetable oil, but I'm not sure that I saw infused vegetable oil here other than infused olive oil and infused peanut oil, which I question, I guess those can be used in-house, but they're also talking about using that elsewhere. Just, again, not organized in a way that's easy to know what is a concentrate, to know what is an edible, to know what is a natural product like keef, that's added to certain things. I know on the cheesecake bites, the label doesn't talk about needing it to be refrigerated, but the ingredients in the process says that it should be frozen. There are infused butter that I'm not sure I saw as an ingredient, but it was very, very difficult to go back and forth between those issues. In the staff memo, they questioned whether Green Dragon tincture wasn't approvable. I think that may be similar to what we just talked about, but I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, so let me just speculate here. You've been paying attention to some of our product approvals in the past few meetings. And correct me if I'm guessing wrong, but when you've got a candy product, chocolate product that has 3 different components, is that because you saw that somebody comes in and says X or Y or Z, and you're saying, well, I'm just going to put on X and Y and Z, or are there distinct reasons to have a candy made with coconut oil and with keef and Or is that a product design decision?
Yeah, that's a design decision. If you ever taste them, you'll know that the keef tastes like cannabis, where the one with distillate does not. Simple. Do you like cannabis to flavor in your edibles, or don't you? And then so that's why we're going to sell two different. In multiple flavors.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, makes sense. It might be helpful for future product applications. Maybe the MJ05 will be redesigned, but maybe if when you're coming in, especially if it's a long list, put your top products at the top. Your base products, and then have your candies together and have your concentrates together. And if there's a design consideration in the ingredient, and you've got several of the same looking products, but you're making some out of keef and some out of not keef, that might be worth mentioning at some point, or at least be ready when you're presenting, and not just you, but anybody that's doing products, to be able to tell the board that. Because, these are, Mr. Jones also has really, really good questions about ingredients, and everybody has a different answer, and they're all good answers. So just keep that in mind. It makes life for the board a lot easier. So, okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Jones.
The other thing is, when we look at the labels, none of these labels show the backside or the labels that would have the ingredients in them. The staff questioned the Green Dragon tincture, which basically says grind and decarbonate whatever cannabis plant material, then mix with alcohol after soaking, strain out the plant material, which tells me that the alcohol is still there. You look at the label, and it doesn't say anything about there's alcohol in here or how much of that is alcohol. It doesn't talk about what the ingredients are. If you look at the next one, gummies, which sort of we all know sort of what goes into the gummies, and that kind of thing. It's basically the label doesn't show any ingredients, and so I would make sure that that's part of the delegation, that staff sees the entire label before these go into production, so that we know that they got the label that has all the ingredients and everything. We're supposed to see the front and back side, and we see one side on all of these labels.
Yeah, and if you have been following, labeling is usually a big issue here, and especially in something that does contain alcohol. We had a couple of years ago when we first started getting products with alcohol in them, there was a fair amount of discussion about what kind of label behind them. So you can have a warm light for your window for the donuts.
Yeah, and coffee.
Okay, Mr. Jones, anything else there?
No, I could talk about every one of the products, but I won't.
Okay, are there any that give you pause, long enough to pause, or you think delegation will take care of most of this?
Well, hopefully delegation will take care of most of this. But olive oil, peanut oil, especially the label doesn't say it's peanut, although it does say that. Vegetable glycerin, vegetable oil. So, I could go on and on, but I don't see anything in here that probably we haven't already approved someplace else.
Sure. Peanut oil.
Given that we don't have a list compared with what was previously approved, and I understand that we are in a unique position that we're sort of the Food and Drug Administration. I think the industry would like us to just simply take their word for it, but I think somewhere along the line we need to have a much better understanding of what we are actually approving, so that's just my comments.
Sure, and that cuts both ways, both to the applicants and what gets presented to the board. I mean, we have had a spreadsheet in the past, and something like that is going to continue to be real helpful. So as you can see, we get real excited when we get like 80 products.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Daniel, I'm looking at the distillate inhaler, and it mentions, kind of how they're going to be assembled, and I believe it says that it will deliver a 5 milligram dose. But near as I can tell, it doesn't indicate how many doses are in a single inhaler. But what caught my attention in particular was packaging for wholesale. It says each bag or container will be sealed. Packaging for wholesale will be the same. Each package will not exceed 5,600 milligrams. Now, I understand where the 5,600 milligrams comes from, but I'm not picturing, because if you're selling it wholesale, you're not limited to that 5,600 gram retail transaction. So
True. I think that wording got carried over into that product. And
okay.
Yeah, they're just the 5,600 milligrams is kind of in reference to like what a vape pen. You can't sell more than that in one transaction.
In one transaction, right? It 28 on mine, 28 of 134. I mean, for delegation, it probably would be appropriate just to mention the maximum amount of THC in the inhalers, just to be consistent with all the other products.
Okay.
Through the chair, if I may, going back to the labeling question, I heard from staff, and at a couple of meetings, the board had been questioning the level of detail on the labels. He just wanted to point out that the instructions for this section asks for a sample label and shows the requirements under 3 AAC 306.570. The comments, it isn't requested in the prompt or in the regulation, and staff believes that the licensees should submit their final labels to enforcement first.
That sounds reasonable. Okay, now, you know what? This inhaler looks an awful lot like a rescue inhaler. Okay? And I didn't necessarily like the idea of topical pads, and those got through, but this one definitely catches my eye. I don't think I would necessarily recommend this even as a product, because kids use rescue inhalers, elders use rescue inhalers. A lot of people use them, they got asthma, and when you can't breathe, you're going to grab the first thing that looks like it's going to work, and this ain't going to help anybody. So I don't know. I think I probably will oppose this product here. I'm not sure what sort of it's small enough that I can't see what you have for labeling on the box itself. Is that a plastic? That's a reusable inhaler, and so somebody would be purchasing a new cartridge to use it again, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like that one.
Have we? I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because I wasn't sure if we approved anything like this before.
No, we have not.
I can't say I disagree with your rationale there, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I would recommend this myself. I'd recommend that you just say, okay, we'll withdraw that product. I mean, I know you want to make it. Probably other people are talking about making it, but I'm a no.
Is it just because it's more of the medical device?
It looks like it's a medical device design. Now you're inhaling straight cold oil into your lungs.
It's a vape pen.
Is there a vape pen built into it?
It's basically the same thing as a vape pen.
Okay, well then that makes it even, I guess, a little more concerning, because it is even more attractive for a diversion, because a kid can throw one of those in their backpack unless it says it's a THC product. Would your cartridge fit a regular asthma inhaler?
I'm not certain if it would. Yeah, I'd have to check into that. It may.
Yeah, no, we've actually not been too happy about some vape pen designs too, as I recall. So yeah, this is, and it's a gimmick. Is all it is. It's a gimmick. It's not, it's just, like you say, it's a vape pen, but it looks like a asthma inhaler, which I suppose some people would say, well, that's nice and sweet, but, thousands of kids take inhalers to school with them every day because they got asthma. So I just don't like this one. So, in fact, I will move to consider the distillate inhaler as a separate item. I'll pull that out of the 05.
I'll second.
I just have a quick question on your hash cookie. That's an edible, right?
And, no, you're looking at a smokable product.
That's smokable?
I'm pretty sure you're looking at two hash
Smokable,
coins
okay.
and diamond smash between the two.
Okay.
Yep. So that's all concentrate.
And again, that if you look at one picture, it looks like a cookie, and another picture, it looks like crumble. So, it's going to be real important that whatever your final product is, that you let enforcement know, take the picture, follow the rules, because some of these products, when you talk about the cookies or cakes, you look at one thing, and then you look at how it's going to be bottled or the packaging, and it looks like an entirely different product. So
I would just add that several of them look quite tasty.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have any other questions or comments or concerns about any of the other products on here? Okay, so let's start with the inhaler for approval of the what's the correct name of it? I'm finding it up on the donut.
Distillate inhaler.
Okay, so for approval of the distillate inhaler product, Mr. Jones?
No.
Mr. Schulte?
No.
Mr. Jaime?
No.
Mr. Miller?
No.
And I'm a no, so that is not approved. On the, we ready for the rest of the 05? Okay, for the balance of the MJ05 for Good Sense, although Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Schulte.
Yes.
Mr. Jaime.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So you got everything except that inhaler.
Yes, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome. Okay. Which brings us to
The main one.
AK. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the main motion.
Yeah, the main motion. Yes, that's right. The main motion. Thank you.
Get all your products, but you don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not done with you yet. Okay. Are there any other questions? Why don't you come back up? We've got to vote on the main motion. Okay. Are there any additional questions on the license itself?
Well, not so much with the license itself, and it actually goes back to the MJ05, but there's a lot of errors. A lot of it seems cut and pasted, and then, or the photographs are wrong. And then we have it with delegation, so it goes back to the staff to, you work with the staff. I think that it should go back to you, like reject it, and you correct everything, and then resubmit it to us. Not with another charge, but submit, paperwork that is in line with what we need to see, not going back through delegation with the staff. So I'll be voting no for this one.
So you're voting on the whole license. Okay. All right. Well, if you want to make a motion to reconsider, and give those sort of reasons, I mean, it's certainly worth a try. We've done that before. We have done that before.
If I may.
Please.
I don't disagree with Mr. Jaime at all. I just want to understand from the staff's perspective. So once we approve this, they have to take the final labeling and a picture of the final product and submit that to enforcement, right, for their records. Am I correct?
Right. Yeah, we have that. We have that master list of accurate photographs. But Mr. Jaime is also addressing the fact that there are some issues with the application itself. which is a matter of record, you know. So, and he's asking that those be fixed, but and they will be, you know, with the assistance with the review of staff, and hopefully it'll only take one review. They'll let you know what needs to get fixed in there, and you should be, you know, taking notes. So, yeah, but we do also require every product manufacturer for every approved product, once they make their first run of it, to provide enforcement with an accurate photograph of that product as manufactured.
So if I may, so I guess I'm not understanding, is the suggestion that we reconsider and not approve the product list and have them come back in April, or that we require them to modify and resubmit this material to staff?
That's what delegation.
Right.
That's what delegation is.
Yeah.
That's what delegation is.
Okay. And the reason I bring it up is I'm just I'd like this to be more consistent, because for example I think it was the last meeting we granted a fair bit of leeway to some of the licensees, and I would just hate to hold this one to a different standard. I think that's unreasonable. But I don't agree with what you're saying. So I'm trying to find some way to accommodate both principles.
And I know the case that, or the licensee that Mr. Schulte is referring to, and I actually stepped away from the meeting during that for a personal reason, so I wasn't able to vote on that one. But yeah, that application was pretty bad. And I would have suggested the same thing. You know, go fix it, come back to the board, submit it, and let's review it prior to just, you know, doing everything with delegation through the staff, because they are busy.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Wait, Daniel, quick question for you. So you know, we've got your your new facility to be approved, and then the products. When do you anticipate the facility being up and running? Okay. All right. So the timing's pretty awkward for you.
Well, you know, the board has had telephonic meetings, I'm pretty sure, to deal with, you know, products that either had to come back for good reason, or, you know, a situation like this. So, you know, it's usually a pretty simple meeting. So that has been done telephonically. So it's not like this would necessarily be put off till April if there was a successful motion to, you know, send the MJO5 back.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
I would just like to remind everybody that as the products are manufactured, accurate photos are sent to staff. So it's like asking him to correct a photo that he's going to correct once he manufactures it. So I understand your concerns, I really do, because some of it frustrates me. And on the label issue, maybe, you know, we do need to look at the regulation, because staff is right. The regulations require that they provide a copy of the label that has the information in the regulation. The back label is not included in the regulation, I don't think, with the ingredients. So, which will also be provided in the final markup. So I understand, and unfortunately this board has gone both ways before, right? We're not very good at this either. And I don't want to punish a licensee because we're not very consistent in the way we apply this. So, and I'm very comfortable, just because the final photo and the final label will come to enforcement and staff before it goes on the shelves. So that's why I'm so comfortable with it.
And I'm good with that. I just think in the future that, you know, licenses that come to us, maybe, you know, through the industry, that you guys can talk to, you know, prospective licensees and say, hey, you know, have it all in order and proper prior to coming before the board.
Yeah.
Sure.
Very good advice. Yeah.
And you know, maybe that could come in the form of some informal guidance from the board through staff to the licensees, applicants, I guess, really at that point, to, you know, for example, list all the concentrates, you know, first, so we can look at those, then list all the products next, and make sure the descriptions of the products and the pictures match. But I'm with Mr. Miller on this. I'm comfortable that our intent is going to be met with the follow-up documentation given to enforcement, and I also feel it would be unfair to just come up with a new policy kind of on the fly without first, documenting it and putting the expectation out there before they apply.
Sure. Okay, and maybe we can ask the director and the staff to kind of peruse minutes of product manufacturing approvals for the last, few years, and see what sort of trends you can discern in there for actions we've taken. All right, okay, we've still got a pile of these. So, is there any more discussion on the main motion to approve license 14874 Good Sense for product manufacturing? Okay, Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Schulte.
Yes.
Mr. Jaime.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
I mean, yes. So there you go. Right. You're good. You're good. Okay. All right.
You got more work to do, but not.
Yeah. Okay. AK Rhyme. You got somebody on the phone? Okay. All right. Okay, do we have a motion for license 22479 AK Rhyme New Product Manufacturing?
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
AK Rhyme with delegation.
Yes. This is Kyle Benton with AK Rhyme.
Second by Mr. Schulte. Okay, Ms. Wiltstein is here.
Yes, this is Janet Wiltstein, attorney for AK Rhyme, and Kyle Denton is on the phone. He's the licensee, one of the licensees. And so this is actually a current operator who is growing out of their lab space. They already are a product manufacturer, so they're getting a new license right across the street and moving their manufacturing over to that space.
Okay. Kyle, you're out there?
Yes.
Okay. We hear a couple of ladies talking. If they're not with you, can you please mute your phones, folks?
No, that's not it.
Okay, please mute your phone.
Elaine,
Thank you.
And they were talking all kinds of stuff.
Okay. Hey, we hear a couple of conversations going in the background. Gentlemen,
so she found.
Maybe we'll just listen to you for the next half hour because you're talking low like it's important.
I think we should just go quiet. Look forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Kyle, go ahead and fill us in. What you got going on?
Yeah, we've like Janet explained, we're just trying to move to a bigger facility across the street from our existing facility. At this time, I don't have a lot of new products that we're not already producing. There's a few. Generally, we've got a distillate, a shatter, a light resin, which is kind of the same process as the shatter, and diamonds and terps is a new listing on this application. Keef and rosin are listed. I don't think they have been before. We have a couple edibles, tincture and capsules that we're currently producing and selling, and caramels and chocolates that have been approved in the past, but we've never manufactured them yet.
Okay, well, let me ask Jana. The products that we approved, what was the name of this other license? Was it AK Rhyme? AK Rhyme, right?
It's the exact same company, exact same name.
Moving the physical plant. Are all the previously approved products on the MJ05? Or is he thinking he can just put the old MJ05 in his pocket and go across the street?
Oh, anything that he's going to create across the street is on this MJ05. There's nothing outside.
Is he closing down the other location, or?
So he might just expand the retail. He's still debating that. Actually, AMCO, the whole office came to this facility and toured the retail, the cultivation, and the manufacturing. And the manufacturing is just pretty tight. So moving it and then expanding retail might be a good idea for him.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that that whatever he's going to make is approved today and not.
Anything that he's going to make is on this current MJ05.
Okay.
Nothing outside of it.
Okay, good. All right. So is there a motion on the MJ05 for AK Rhyme?
Motion to approve MJ05 for license 22479 AK Rhyme.
Is there a second? Second. All right. And is there any big difference? Do you have any new products on here that you weren't making before that have not been approved before?
I think they've been approved before, but he has not gone into production with the caramel and the.
They've been approved before.
Yes.
Okay. There's nothing on here that.
Except for Keef. He didn't have Keef in his last application.
Okay.
I believe that's what he said.
And diamonds and terps.
And diamonds and terps. Thanks, Kyle.
All right. Okay. Mr. Jones, any questions, comments?
Not on the products, no. I did have a question. There's a pretty extensive, looks like a copyrighted thing called True Terpenes, True Grade Compliance Packet. I was just curious why that was in here.
Kyle, I'm going to let you hit that one.
The examiner asked me if, what terpenes we were using when I mentioned that we would be adding terpenes back in. And this is the aspect of their QC data compliance packet that they don't consider proprietary. So I just put it in there as kind of a response.
So basically staff said, hey, where are you getting your terpenes from? Give us some more information. And so what he did was provide the actual company's information, and
these are food grade terpenes.
These are food grade terpenes, and so this report is something that talks about the terpenes and also how to handle them and whatnot.
Okay, any other questions on the MJ05? Not hearing any, although, so for the MJ05, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so that passes. And on the main license, any questions on the...
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
When I looked at the premises diagram, what is the other part of the building that is not restricted access? What is going on in there? And the reason I ask is you have Suite 101 office/warehouse. It's not restricted at all. You have storage and surveillance, which I assume is the storage and surveillance of the cameras and the stuff for the manufacturing. That is not restricted, and I thought that had to be restricted. The access, so there's a couple of, and the only access is through this one side where you can go either to the warehouse or to into the break room for the manufacturing seemed to be the only entrance. So I was wondering what else was going on in that building, and whether or not the actual storage and surveillance was for the marijuana business.
So we have a construction company and some other things we do, and we have another entity that's a non-licensed entity called Answer that's leasing the building. We currently have a business office off-site for Answer. The office replaces that, and we also currently have a warehouse for that. The only thing it gets used for in terms of our operation, as it does now at a different location, is storage of bulk medium product when we get in shipments. The rest of it is pretty much construction materials and equipment. The surveillance,
is that manifested items that get delivered, or is that
No.
stuff for Answer?
Stuff for Answer. So
No.
Answer is like a medium dirt construction company. So they store it in there, and so Answer leases the whole building. Answer's sole member is Blackstone Investments, which is the licensee of this license, same ownership group. But they pulled out Suite 101 for the manufacturing, Suite 100 is for the office, and then it's storing some of that medium.
Right, so that storage/surveillance room is not associated with Suite 101. Is that correct?
I
think it is,
I would
right?
like to have my my screens in there, not the actual hard drives that store it. But if that's not acceptable, I can put the surveillance, the camera monitoring screens in 101 too. The storage will be in 101 either way.
Storage of
The security equipment, so the big
storage
lockbox.
right. So
Yeah.
that has to be part of it.
So that he's saying is in the restricted access area. What he's asking for is if he could put his camera screens in that little room that you see there that is unrestricted, so that he could go into there easy. And so that's what he's asking for.
Right, but to go in, to
view the cameras from there.
No, I understand. So the only access into Suite 101 is through the break room, correct? So when you're moving manifested product in for use in manufacturing, when you're taking manufactured product out, you're going to the break room, right?
Right.
That's the only door. You don't have any other exit.
There's a back door. So if you go towards the south part of the diagram, you see there's a back door there, and then an entrance right into the break room.
That is the only access.
Yeah, I don't see any back door.
Well,
not out of Suite 101.
Just to the south, through the break room. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, that's why I was curious about the storage surveillance and whether that needed to be part of the licensed premises. I mean, if you're going to store electronic records or screens, if you're going to be sitting in there watching what goes on in the manufacturing, and yet that's not part of your manufacturing, it's part of your answer business, I don't think that's acceptable, especially when the only entrance to the storage and surveillance is leaving the manufacturer, going through another business, or going outside and into another business to get to that. That doesn't seem correct to me, and I think that needs to be corrected, and maybe part of the delegation that either somehow that gets expanded into the licensed premises, or the access is changed, something, because if that is storage and surveillance for the marijuana business, then I think it needs to be part of the licensed premises.
It won't be storage. If you guys don't want it to be surveillance, then I'll put the screens in Suite 101. I won't make that room will not become part of the licensed premises.
Okay, Mr. Miller?
Through the chair, I kind of understand Mr. Jones's concern, but I think as long as the DVR and the hard drives are in the secured storage area, that should be fine. Because to be honest with you, I look at my surveillance system at home, I look at it on my cell phone, and I have screens at the office I look at it on. So it's not so much where you can see them from, I don't believe. I think it's where the data is actually stored. And I believe the licensee said that it would be stored in Suite 101 in a lockbox.
Exactly. MJ01 Section 3.14 specifies that the equipment, the surveillance equipment, will be stored in the licensed facility in a cabinet that's locked.
So I just look at mine all over the place.
Is what he's asking for.
Yeah.
But when I look at the diagram, I don't see that. I see janitor's closet, I see short path, I see break, packaging, labeling, extraction, kitchen, filtering, and something 6 months. I don't see that storage. I don't see a space for that storage. I don't see how you would access it. I don't see where enforcement would go and to look at that stuff. If that's all kept someplace else, like across the street, then I think that needs to be better described.
And I know that we asked the licensees not to put their surveillance systems on the drawings anymore.
Yeah. Actually, Mr. Jones, if you look at the really fine print up in the kitchen, there's two little green boxes that say 6 month on them. Those are the 6 month record storage. That's the label, and those two rectangles I would expect are the cabinets that will be holding that. So he does label where his secure storage is.
Mr. Chairman?
Again,
I find myself agreeing both with Mr. Jones and Mr. Miller. I agree that surveillance equipment should be contained within the licensed premises. However, I've installed and maintained systems like this. It's a relatively small unit cabinet that can be mounted, on the wall, even above the ceiling. It doesn't have to be printed on the floor necessarily. In fact, it's desirable not to be. So I think, and the licensee is saying he can move that equipment into the licensed premises so it is secure. But as Mr. Miller said, accessing it that's a matter of running a single Cat5 cable to the other office.
Right, and the plan, just to clarify, the plan, as MJ01 says, is that locked cabinet is inside the restricted access area.
Yes.
What all he's asking for is to be able to view the TVs in that room and just have those be displayed in there.
Perhaps it would be helpful to include a monitor in the licensed premises so that if enforcement comes by and wants to look at some video, there is a monitor there, on the wall and, a mouse and keyboard so that activity can take place entirely within the licensed premises, but without any restriction on being able to monitor them also from the adjacent space. I mean, would that be sufficient, do you think?
Well, I can do that.
Yeah. the physical storage of the video is in the licensed premises. It's there in the kitchen. This storage/surveillance room, there'll be some screens and a desk and a chair. You go put his feet up and drink a cup of coffee and watch the screens instead of, being underfoot with his workers. But the actual hard drives are in the licensed premises.
Yeah. And it sounds like that's what he's saying he's going to do. If that wasn't his plan before, it is.
That's exactly his plan.
Yeah, what I envision those 2 6-month blocks as being is actually one of them is a locking server cabinet for the 4 months video, and the other one's just a locking file cabinet for hard copy storage.
This is Director Klinkart. One of the nice things about being able to go to a few of these was that I saw their lockbox setup there as well, but also the large screens, the small area he had to work with, and this is the computer geek cyber cop in me. As long as he's, as a business person, is satisfied that he has control over access to them electronically, physically, that's really what I am concerned about, is who can, because I always found if I can touch it, then I own it. And the systems that he had there, if it's going to be similar, would be satisfactory to me. The other thing I like to say, too, is being able to see that when we saw what your folks were doing in manufacturing, you needed some space. So I'm glad to see that he's looking at that. There was literally 6 people in a room the size of my bathroom at the hotel. So they've been trying to do a lot with very little. So I'm glad to see he's looking to fix that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir, Mr. Lee.
Your existing facility, if I understand correctly, it's across the street, the other side of A Street? Is that okay?
Yes.
I just want to make sure I was oriented properly. Okay, thanks.
All right. Any more questions on the application? Because we ain't going to get coffee till we get the other 2 done. Okay, so for AK Rhyme, license 22479, new manufacturing with delegation, Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Schulte.
Yes.
Mr. Jaime.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
I'm a yes, so there you go.
Thank you.
Yep. All right.
Thank you all very much.
Edibles, Alaska.
Did we approve that?
We did. No. Yeah, we did. Yeah. Yes, we did. Yeah.
It took too long.
Yeah, we did.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
I've got what we did. Mm-hmm. No, I have done it. Nick made the motion. You seconded it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was the same list that we approved last time for them. There was nothing to discuss on. Good afternoon. Okay, morning. Dose Edibles, Alaska. We have a motion for license 23146. Sure we will. Anybody? Motion? For 23146, Dose Edibles.
Motion to approve license number 23146, Dosed Edibles, Alaska, with delegation.
Yeah, second. Mr. Schulte. Okay, ma'am, go ahead and introduce yourself to us and tell us what you're up to.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Rhodes. I'm the CEO of Chubby Girl Confections. I'm a confectioner at Dosed Edibles, Alaska. So with your approval, I plan to open Dosed Edibles, Alaska in Fairbanks and produce edibles.
Now, is Chubby Girl Confections, is that an existing company, or is that just your overall name?
It's my overall name.
Okay, but you're not making regular candy right now?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Okay, how many products do you have?
1.
Wow, all those in favor. Okay, and what would that be?
A gummy.
A gummy.
Dose
1 gummy.
Gummies.
Are you involved with any other licenses?
I am. I'm a licensed professional counselor in the state of Alaska.
No, I mean, Mary.
Oh, sorry, no.
Yeah, no, cannabis licenses.
No other cannabis licenses.
The cannabis licenses. Okay, all right, and for 1 product, where are you doing this at?
The address is 3915 Pegger Road.
Okay. Let's look here. Let me find the premises diagram real quick.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
question,
Mr.
while
Schulte.
you're looking for that diagram. So you're just going to produce 1 product?
Correct.
Is that? I mean, I'm not challenging your business plans, but is there? I'm just trying to understand how you're going to be successful with just 1 product.
Right. So at this time, I've produced the gummies on a large scale, and I feel like I perfected the gummy. I do plan on having other products in the future, and I will come back to the board when I'm ready, and I've perfected those.
And those are just for gifting and personal consumption. Gummies you've been making.
I have made them, yes.
Experimenting with.
Correct.
So you're just going to own the gummy market?
That's my plan.
So,
and others?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So are you going to work like one day a week or something?
No, every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
You are planning on owning the gummy market. All right, let's look at the gummies. Do we have a motion for the MJ05 for Dosed Edibles Alaska?
Motion to approve MJ05 for license 23146, Dosed Edibles Alaska.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. So these look like are they sugar coated? This is a kind of a black and white picture.
Yeah,
here.
it'll have a little bit of a sugar and
I thought you made a lot of them. You should have a good picture of them for us.
I was going to say, there might be two options there. One's black and white, one's colored.
Yeah. So 10 to a package?
Correct.
So what sets your product apart?
It's just a damn good gummy.
Is that based on a design decision?
It's based on a lot of different things. Shape, design, everything. Yeah.
Any questions about any questions?
Counseling session with the gummy?
No, don't actually.
Not approved.
No, given that she does hold a professional license, it's actually it's legit. That's not something to joke about.
Well, I handle professional.
Yeah, she does. Yeah. Yeah, well, it was, but we just, we are on the record. Okay, are there any questions about the MJ05? Mr. Jones? Anything? Okay, you know what? Where are you? Oh, you're going to be buying your oil?
Yes, that's correct.
You're going to be buying your oil, okay. And what kind of oil is it going to be? It just says decarb cannabis oil distillate. It's going to be only a distillate?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. You probably already know whose oil you're buying, huh?
Yes, Extracted Laboratories and Talkeetna.
Okay. A lot of gas to pay for.
A little bit. Okay, I like to drive.
Okay. Any questions on the MJ05? Okay, not hearing any for approval of the MJ05. Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes, so the MJ05 is approved. Are there any other questions on the license itself? So you call yourself a confectioner, you must have been making candy for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a home chef, I like to bake everything,
Okay. All right. I don't hear any other questions on the application, so on license 23146, Dosed Edibles Alaska, new product manufacturer in Fairbanks. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so there you go.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the board for your time, as well as the licensing department. They were great to work with through this process.
Thank you. We appreciate
so much.
that. Okay, Thunder Brewing Company. We have a motion for license 23736.
Motion to approve license 23736, Tundra Brewing LLC with delegation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Anyway, Mr. Schulte. Good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah, good morning.
Introduce yourselves to us and tell us what you got in mind.
My name is Brian Simpson. My wife and I are co-owners of the Tundra Brewing LLC, and we are represented by Lance Wells, attorney, hopefully online or on phone.
He was before. Mr. Wells, you with us?
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
I am, and good morning.
Good morning. Okay. Your client's here in front of us, so we'll talk to them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. you guys license?
Yes, I wrote a license previously, but this is, we're no longer associated with that business, and this is, would be the only cannabis.
What are you making here? Making
Infused beverage.
only?
At this point, only.
And what are you infusing them with?
Distillate oil, THC oil that was purchased from a vendor here in Juneau.
What? That's even more gas. Yeah, Fairbanks. Okay, do you guys have any experience with making carbonated beverages? These are carbonated, right?
I'd like to introduce Mr. Scott Meyer. He's our consulting beverage expert.
Okay, yeah, we've had, I know we had one, whoever's shuffling papers, that's you, Mr. Wells. You want to mute your phone, please?
Not me.
Yeah, okay. Okay, whoever's making noise in the background, please mute your phone. I'm trying to talk here. Okay, so I know we had one or come in, make carbonated. These full carbonation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them will be. We're planning to do a full spectrum of beverages.
Mm-hmm.
Some will be carbonated, some will not.
Okay. Have you been able to talk to anybody in Alaska that's in the cannabis beverage business, just to see what kind of problems they've been having, sort of issues they've been having?
I haven't talked to them directly. I've followed.
Okay, 'cause I know we did have a call, I think, on a bunch of beverages, in the last 6 months or so. And then there's, there's the issues around the manufacturing process. But you've been in the beverage manufacturing business?
Yes, I have.
All right. Where at?
Well, I have my own business in North Carolina, and those are carbonated soft drinks.
Sure.
Gourmet
Okay.
soft drinks.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So you're not doing any distillation or anything. You're buying all your base products. Okay, Mr. Jones, you got any questions about any of these?
Not on the products, no.
Okay. Then, all right. Do we have a motion for the MJ05? Yes. Well, we had the main motion. You also made a MJ05 motion? Yeah. All right. You got both those motions, right? Okay, she's got the main. Okay, let's do a motion for the MJ05.
Motion to approve MJ05 for license 23736, Chunder Brewing, LLC.
Okay, second. Second. All right. All right. If there's no other questions about the products on the MJ05, and what is there, like 6 products on here? 8? Not that many.
There's one product, 2 flavors.
One product, 2 flavors. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Just a lot of labels. Nice looking labels.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
looking labels.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, are you going to add more flavors?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We intend to add more flavors, more beverages, more sizes in time. The idea was to get the facility up and running, get these 2 moving, and then come before you again with other options, but not to overload startup.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that. Okay, then on the MJ05, for approval for license 23736, Thunder Brewing Company, Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Schulte.
Yes.
Mr. Jaime.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
I'm a yes, so your products are approved. Moving on to the main motion, questions on the application. Mr. Jones.
Mr. Chair. On the MJ05 form, just had a question because the wording here, basically about 2/3 of the way down, it says, post-production, a representative sample will be sent to the lab for testing, and the remaining product will be quarantined until cleared testing. Product will be packaged within metric. Of that package, may be repackaged into wholesale packages or additional packages. Product based within metric. When an order is placed from a retailer or a product manufacturing facility, appropriate quantity will be packaged.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Requires that when you have a final batch, so you produce 700 bottles of spritzer, a representative sample needs to be tested. You can't then repackage that and sell it in a different way without it being tested. And I wasn't sure, reading that, this is what you're proposing, or whether you're saying, we'll package this into 10 bottles in this or 50 bottles in that. I was really unclear reading that description.
I think you're correct, sir. I think just the way it's written is confusing, but yes, each batch will be tested and then distributed wholesale. There won't be repackaged as another product, or if that were to happen, we'd have to, say, retest, but I don't foresee that as ever happening. It'll either pass testing or won't, each bulk lot, and then once it's cleared testing, it'll be distributed in varying amounts depending on an order.
So you're not going to do a bulk production of the spritzer and hold it while it's being tested and then bottle it, or are you going to bottle it?
No, we'll bottle it.
And then send several of the bottles out to be tested?
Yeah, we'll be testing
Okay.
finished bottles.
All right.
If I may.
Go ahead.
So in reading this, I understand Mr. Jones' question because there's a lot of packaging and repackaging and post-packaging and so forth. But so it's fair to say you're going to bottle it, you're going to do a batch, you're going to bottle it, send some off for testing, and then based on the orders you get, you're going to take those bottles and package them in lots, groups, 6-packs, 12-packs, flats, whatever. Is that accurate?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks. Yeah, just the way it's expressed here is a little hard to follow, but it sounds like within metric there's mechanisms where you take a bottle and package it as 10, and that's a different thing in metric. Is that accurate?
Correct, yeah. So once it's tested and we know that particular batch of however many bottles is approved, then we'll go into distribution to the different retail accounts.
Okay. Nellie Scott is the partner in what?
Her and I were husband and wife, and we own the LLC 100%, 50%.
Okay, but you're the license applicant, not her.
I'm the
I wouldn't
manager
be going
of the
looking
LLC.
like that.
She will be involved, but I'm the manager of the LLC.
So I'm looking at the lease pages here. That's where I found her name. The statement of financial interest, is she on? Oh yeah, there she is. Okay, all right. So since you've got a professional bottler working for you, you're up there in Fairbanks where it sometimes gets a little cold. What kind of building is this that you're in? I mean, is it a frame building, or I got to scroll a little further down in the premises diagram? That's what I'm looking at. But it looks like it's just kind of a long 2-room rectangle. Is that about right? So where are you going to be? Where are you going to be storing like your empty bottles and your finished bottles? You know, what's your product flow through there? I mean, I see you've got a lot of stuff noted on here. 35 and 33 is what? Storage tested bottles, okay. New empty bottles, okay. All right. And you'll be maintaining your equipment, and DEC's already gone over this, your sanitation plan for your bottling equipment.
It's before DEC. We don't have their approval yet.
Okay.
And we don't have the fire marshal approval yet. But yes, sir, you are correct. If you look at the diagram, 125, I think it's fairly explanatory.
Yeah. You got all the empties on the outside, and then you move the actual bottling takes place in the back room.
Yes, sir. That will all be a drain floor and all the equipment, and then the south side will be mostly storage of either isolated product for testing or empty glass.
Okay. And everybody that works in there, they're going to be wearing hairnets and booties and stuff like that. Do you have a spot on your diagram here? You've got an exterior entrance, number 2, that kind of you can turn the corner and go into your production area. Have you got an area for employees to kind of booty up before they go in?
Yes, sir. If you look at I guess the diagram 125. you come in the south door.
Uh-huh.
That would be your
Number
door.
one, yeah.
Yeah, complete come in. As you go up near that, where the restroom is, on the outside of the restroom, there's a hand wash sink.
Okay.
And that's where people will booty up, sterilize. We'll have a mat on the floor to make sure your shoes are clean. And then on the inside, there'll be another hand wash sink and a triple sink per DEC specs. But when people enter, they'll already be sanitary before entering the north side.
Yeah,
which
very
is
good.
Isolated.
Good. Okay. Any other questions on the application? Yes, no, maybe so? Okay, then on the motion to approve license 23736 Tundra Brewing Company, new product manufacturing in Fairbanks. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so there you go.
Thank you, sir. And would like to say thank you to all the AMCO staff. I found them to be very professional and helpful.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, appreciate that. Okay, coffee break. Back at about 11. All right. Or whatever, Nick's done smoking cigarettes. I'm gonna be ready to make some young man.
We should put it to whenever you're done out there.
Yeah, whatever. Back before you do. What are you talking about? No. Get back before you do. Okay.
I appreciate that. I would have done it. I know you would have.
Oh, I just thought it was good.
No, don't be confused.
All right, we're back from not getting coffee.
Yeah,
Not getting coffee. We tried. All right, we are up to. Good morning. Let's see now.
Good morning, and also Lance Wells is on the phone.
Okay, where, what am I missing here?
Tab 34.
Okay, oh, choice extracts. Okay, all right, there we go. Yeah, tab over. I just had the page turned upside down. She quit throwing stuff around. Okay, we have a motion for choice extracts, and let's say this is for limited cultivation and a concentrate. So we're on new license applications for related applicants. Trying to remember how we've done this past. We've done both licenses. We made a motion. Just make a motion for the first one, 21021.
Motion to approve license 21021, Choice Extracts, a limited cultivation facility with delegation.
Yeah, there's a second. All right. Go ahead.
I'm John Guest with Choice Extracts, and do you want me to explain the facility, or?
Yeah, just you got to go ahead and is it okay if he talks about they're both in the same place, right?
Sure.
Okay, just go ahead and fill us in what you're doing with between the cultivate and the.
So it's a new construction facility. We decided to do a limited grow, and our intention is to pheno hunt out of that facility. So currently finding new strains in our standard cultivation can off-put our production or seed out a whole crop, which could be detrimental to our business. So it's our intention to open a smaller facility that'll allow us to new seeds, and get new strains in without putting the main cultivation at risk.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
I had a question on the premises diagram. You have two buildings. One bordered in pink says proposed building. One bordered in green that says existing building. But then on the description, the pink says existing licensed cultivation, and the green says new structure being constructed.
Yes,
It
sir.
seemed to be the opposite of what the drawing was. So my question is, are both buildings built? One of them built? What?
Correct. Yeah. So
Which one of these are actually
the
live?
the color code is off. It was my mistake by miscoloring them. The engineered diagram with the small writing in there. The reason we added the color was the staff asked for like a more clear indication of which was which, and that was a mistake we made. But yeah, the engineered diagrams that says the new building, and the existing building would be the larger building, the 100 by 60, and then the new building is the 40 by 40.
Okay. If I might, then up above that, sort of the engineer's drawing, it looks like they're in one building. It's manufacturers in blue, some grow is in green, and you've got it all as a restricted access. So is the manufacturing a separate building, the grow a separate building, or are you having a mall?
So currently I own a standard cultivation that's Guest Services LLC that operates Guest Services LLC. The new building, which are these two licenses here, is going to contain both the extraction and the limited grow facility. The limited grow facility labeled in green, and the extraction area labeled in blue.
Okay. And so in the drawing right below that, that's in what's labeled existing building.
With the color. On the inside of the miscolor representation, it does say the proper label for that building.
So, how long have you had your standard cultivate?
Since 2017.
Okay. And you're basically financing this new construction and the proceeds from that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're the sole proprietor, the sole licensee on both of those?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, and I've said before that I've always thought that doing this as a small cultivate, doing it more as a development type of grow is really kind of the key to advancement of the cultivation industry in the state. So glad to see that. Okay, are there any other questions on the cultivate?
Just, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
So kind of keying off of what Mr. Springer just said. So you're going to bring some of these plants to flower. You've got just the one flowering room?
Yeah, so the flowering room will be 12,000 watts, so there'll be 12 lights in there with a supported veg next to it. And then we'll flower all the plants at that facility and then determine the results because each seed is going to be different, show different aspects of that strain, which will allow us to, we'll have a cut of all of them, and then we can say, okay, 90% of these definitely aren't keepers, they didn't grow properly or whatnot. And then once we decide that, hey, we have a keeper, we'll go ahead and file the, or make a package and transfer that to the cultivation, the one clone, and go through that process.
Oh, okay, so you're not seeding them out?
No, we're not planning on breeding at all.
Oh, okay.
But per something like that happens, like if a plant hermaphrodites and it doesn't show signs until the 6th week, that can cause chaos for the rest of the flowering room.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, so I think you're the first ones that have kind of come in with that kind of plan that I can recall. So make sure once you get going that you get enforcement dialed in on what you're doing and how you're doing it, and if there's any weirdness with metric, not like metric would have any weirdness, that you're on top of that for
two separate metrics.
Right, but you're gonna be transferring. You're gonna be taking stuff you've grown.
If I were to take a clone to a retail family or something like that.
Yeah, I'm just make sure that them guys are on top of it.
Absolutely, and we open the door just
like I said, you've got a different
has,
plan.
So.
You've got kind of a different plan than anybody else really has.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. All right. Good.
So we're just talking about the limited cultivation.
Talking about the cultivate right now.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll reserve my question then.
Okay. So
and through the chair, I would like for you to correct this.
Absolutely.
Because that is very confusing. So.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, I noticed that this morning, and Jessica had drawn that, and so we'll get that changed. We're sorry for the confusion.
All righty. Any more questions? And we had a motion, right? Okay. I think Bruce seconded it. Okay. Then on the license 21021, new limit cultivate for choice extracts in Houston. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes on that, so there you go on that. And let's move on to license 21022, concentrate manufacturing.
Motion to approve license 21022, choice extracts, marijuana concentrate manufacturing.
Second. Okay. I wrote that down too. Okay. So this is inside the same building. Get there. How many products are you asking for here?
Roughly 15, I believe.
Are they all concentrates?
Yes, sir. Nothing edible.
Okay. All right. We have a motion for the MJ05.
Motion to approve MJ05 for license 21022, choice extracts.
Okay.
Second.
All right. And so you're making dabs and you're going to be manufacturing out of your standard cultivate and small cultivate, or just the standard?
Are you meaning do I transfer material from my standard to the? Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's okay. All right.
Question?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I see the blast room in the upper right-hand corner. What are you using? Are you using butane or?
Yep, butane gas or a mixed gas, propane butane.
And I see there's no exits to the exterior. Have you reviewed this with the fire marshal yet?
Yep, it's in fire marshal review. It's fully architecturally engineered, mechanically engineered, electrically engineered.
And they don't have a problem with having no exterior exit from that blast room?
Nope, it's the distance to the door, I believe.
Okay.
So your nearest route of exit, and if you go into the detailed plans, it'll have exit signs that lead you to the exit.
Okay.
Okay. So on the products, are there any questions about any of the products in the MJ05.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. The biggest question I had was on the last two products, the solventless cartridge and the solventless rosin hash. And basically, if you read the process, the standard production, first one, the cartridge, you have a process and purge in a vacuum oven until desired consistency is obtained before transferring into the cartridge. That's exactly the same verbiage for the rosin hash, except you leave out the consistency for the cartridge. Normally when people, at least the vape cartridges, things like that I've seen and reviewed, most of those have some kind of concentrate, and then it's vegetable glycerin, or there's something in there that makes it liquid enough to go in the cartridge, but also smokable. Because if you look at the rosin hash, that's pretty thick stuff, and that's not in a cartridge. Could you explain? Because basically, it looks like it's exactly the same process, but you either stop it at some point to put it in a cartridge, and then, or keep it going to make it more the rosin, or how do you do that?
So when rosin's made, sometimes you have high terpene fractions, and by putting it in an oven at a temperature, it'll allow those fractions to separate, essentially. So more viscous terpenes will rise to the top, and the thicker ones will fall to the bottom. And heat and pressure, they all play a factor on how those things separate. And you do have the ability on some products to take a completely solventless extract and manipulate it to a point where it's viscous enough to go through the cartridge. There's definitely more issues with, say, cartridges sticking or not continuing to flow properly, and that's something that we're going to work on over time. But we just want to put the option in there for individuals that aren't interested in using a solvent-based product.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, if it sort of doesn't work out, then, if you have to add something to that, that's going to be a change, and you're going to need to bring that
Correct,
bring
yeah.
that back.
If it doesn't work out, that's the opposite of our intention with that product. So the intention of that product is to have a wholesome product that has no additives at all, so completely natural. So if it doesn't work out, in my opinion, it wouldn't be worth to add a non-natural product. That's kind of missing the point of that.
You basically do with the distillate cartridge and the HDE distillate cartridge, with the terpenes added, that kind of stuff. So
correct.
Any other questions on the MJ05? All right, not hearing any. So for approval of the MJ05 for license 21022 choice extracts, Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Schulte.
Yes.
Mr. Jaime.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so that's approved. There you go. And on the license for 21022 choice extracts, new manufacturing, any additional questions or comments on the license application? Okay, not hearing any. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes, so there you go.
And TJ Zielinski reviewed this application, and it was very well.
Great.
Did very good. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, Red Light District. You got somebody on the phone?
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
And their general manager, Rich Beasley's on the phone too.
Okay.
Janet Wilson, attorney for AK, the Red Light District.
Okay, do we have a motion for license 21724 Red Light District?
58 people on the phone.
Motion to approve license.
Also, a whole bunch of people at the meeting.
District. Marijuana.
Okay, is there a second?
Delegate.
All right, second by Mr. Schulte. Okay, all right, you're looking for, Mr. Millhouse, you out there?
Yes, I am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so, What do you got in mind here? Go ahead, introduce yourself and tell us what you want to do here with the retail.
So this is Rich speaking. And so basically we've outgrown our current facility, and we're just looking to expand on what we've already been doing for the last 3 years. And that's kind of where we're at. We need a bigger grow, and we need the retail to go with it.
Yeah. So if I could just give you a brief overview. So Jamie and Mindy own Fuzzy Monkey, which is that really small retail that's attached to a pretty good-sized grow in Anchorage. And then right next to it, adjacent to it, they also own AK Greenlight District, thank you. AK Greenlight District. And then the property that's right near there, it used to be the Trendsetters school. And so Jamie's dad owns that. So and Jamie just actually recently purchased it. And so they're converting that big facility into a grow and then a retail. And so right now you're looking at the retail aspect of it. And that's that layout. And actually, we were too late to swap out the updated diagrams that came from the architect. We had some changes. And so the staff said, you're too late to get on the tab, but bring copies. Maybe the board will swap out diagram 1 and 2 for the retail. Okay, so I have those when you're ready to consider that.
Yeah, go ahead, Jenna, bring them up. So are they're going to keep Greenlight District open, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have 2 retails.
Yep, it's just going to be actually 3. So it's going to be a little kind of compound area, just how it is now, just with more options. The zoning in this area doesn't allow for them to have just a cultivation. They have to have actually a cultivation and a retail, because it's a B3 zoning in the city of Anchorage. That's what's required. So there's just one diagram each. Yep. And so the current diagram that you'll see in MJ02 outlines a future on-site consumption cafe, but that's not actually going to be built out when James and his team come in and inspect the building. So we wanted to change the diagram to show that it's going to be there's no marijuana operations in that area. That would be the cafe right now.
That's where it says future tenant.
Yeah, it should just say future cafe, but that's okay. And so basically the change would be changing the multi-purpose room to marijuana storage area and making it restricted access. So that's room 101. And then licensee wants to kind of phase out, and so it's not going to be building out the cafe right now. They're going to come back to you and apply for an endorsement and see how the community feels about it, and then commit to that build out. So we're going to remove that detail from the 119. And then
still going to be incorporated as licensed premises?
Yes. Yes, because, and the reason for that is, if I don't do that now, then when we change it, when I go to the city for a modification, I have to do what's called a major modification, because it's more than 10%, and have a whole other community meeting and whatnot, which we're going to have for the endorsement, but I don't have to, it's a lot bigger process when it comes to the planning department and building safety.
Righty. Any questions on the retail? Looks like it'd be a pretty nice place.
It's a beautiful building.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, go ahead.
So they're requesting that the diagrams that were handed out be accepted by the board. So I want to make sure that as part of the delegation, that if the staff approve of the premises diagram, that's fine, but I don't want to get board approval prior to, for the changes in these diagrams without staff having passed them on. And so I want to make sure that that's clear. And secondly, I appreciate Ms. Wellstein talking about what might happen to, quote, the cafe area or the future tenant or no work in this area, but it's still part of the premises. In the MJ01 or MJ03 3.3, they do state that they will not be coming back in the future for on-site consumption, and that seems to not be true. I was going to question that because in the premises diagram it showed it. Here, Ms. Welsine says they're taking that out, but in the future they may be back. So you might want to pay attention to how you answer questions.
That you're right. We should amend 3.3 for yes, because that is the intent.
Yeah. Well, it said no, and then in the premises diagram you showed it. So I was going to question that. Now you don't show it at all, and anybody should talk about it. So
yeah, I still think we should change that to yes. So with the delegation.
Get your story straight.
Your story straight. All right. Any other questions on retail? Okay, not hearing any. Okay, I'm sorry.
I do. I still.
Go ahead.
On the MJ, the premises diagram and the one you handed out, you walk into the lobby, and then there's stairs upstairs. And I didn't read in instructions how is that going to be locked? How is that going to be secured? Because I assume that's the public area, the lobby, the retail shop, where customers will be, but they'll be right there at the upstairs, and it says public. So I'm just questioning how or what that stairs are and how that's going to be secured if that's the access to the grow operation.
Hey, Rich, do you want to take that question?
Yes. Yes. So the upstairs, there is a public restroom. However, beyond that point, there will be a wall blocking off any entrance to the cultivation without having access. So we wanted to leave the restroom part open, which is why that's still there. However, they will not have any access to the cultivation portion of the facility.
So if I look upstairs, I see the upstairs open to below, and I see the restroom and janitor, and then I see veg room, I see cure room, I see an elevator, storage. It would be nice to know what of those are designated licensed premises or not. I assume you're not going to have cameras in the bathrooms upstairs, but you've got to have cameras on the stairs. It's kind of confusing to have a public access area upstairs out of the sight of the retail staff and not in sight of the cultivation staff. That seems to pose some security issues for me.
So that's the only bathroom that can be accessible that doesn't have to go through a restricted access area. So all the doors that would lead to cultivation areas are all going to be restricted access, locked, not open to the public. And so really just that area, the hallway, go up and down to use the restrooms and then back down.
And there's
you'll see that on the cultivation diagram.
And you're required by them, you need to have a public restroom?
We're required to allow access, so we could either allow access through the restricted access area and have them sign in the visitor log, or we could provide them public restrooms upstairs where they don't have to go into a restricted access area.
Okay, those those windows on the floor plan here? Oh, all right. I knew having an architect around would be helpful. Okay. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with Mr. Jones that you're gonna have to tune up that plan for the bathroom. And if this is the diagram, that of course, do you have another one of these that you're gonna give us for the cultivate?
It doesn't change.
One good.
Yeah, the cultivation is the same.
All right.
It wasn't impacted by the.
Okay. Well, you are gonna need to amend this to show that this is part of the retail, this public access area.
Okay.
Part of retail. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have to color that in and indicate that that's a security door right there. Is that elevator still functional?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because you could theoretically end up with some loitering issues with that upstairs there. I mean,
Well,
conceivable.
so we have security cameras covering that lobby area as well. So just like any standard, just like if they're loitering outside of our current facility, we'll see them on camera.
Sure.
We need some.
All right. Okay.
Oh,
Any other questions? Comments?
Lights out, please.
Hey, yeah. Whoever's got their telephone on, turn it off. Okay, for license 21724, Red Light District, the Red Light District, new retail in Anchorage. Mr. Jones. Yes. Mr. Schulte.
Yes.
Mr. Jaime.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Jaime, yes. So there you go. And now we move on to new
Thank you.
Red Light District Standard Cultivate. So how are you going to compete with yourself? You're going to have how many retails there?
There'll be 3,
3 retails.
as required by zoning.
So we would prefer if the zones ever changed that's not the case anymore. There is also possibilities of us shutting down the small operation Fuzzy Monkey that we are currently doing, if there's not a need for it, or doing something else with it. But we just can't produce enough. So if we want to stay competitive with the market, we need to have expansion on the cultivation.
Yeah, no, I was saying more about competition on yourself and the retails. But okay, so on the cultivate, this is upstairs. Now, that looks about right.
So for MJO2, I would assume that the board wants to delegate us to remove the yellow from the cultivation licensed area and make that yellow for the retail, for that public access area.
Well, no, according to this, it looks like we've got blue for the retail public area, the lobby, and the upstairs lobby. So it's that blue mean. That means
non-restricted access area.
Non-restricted. Yeah. No,
the blue is non-restricted.
Yeah, I'm looking at diagram 1 and 2. Proposed furnace legend, that light blue, azure, whatever color it is. And then what's this? What's the common area? Oh, the stairs in the back. Why is that a common area?
Because it's access to the public restroom.
The back?
You're talking about that other blue area.
Far end, yeah, you've got a stairway.
Yeah, that's a stairway.
Described on this as a common area, but shoot. Yeah, you know what? That's kind of interesting, because if that was to be cult function, you wouldn't want those stairs. You're not going to go up there, then walk down the hall to go to the bathroom.
Well, it isn't the back stairs that you're talking about on the north side. That's an emergency exit, so it would be locked, but still need to exist.
Yeah, but why is it listed as a common area on this map on the cultivate diagram? Colored blue. This is non-restricted access area, but the only way to get to it is through the cultivate, those stairs, or through the currently described future tenant area. You see what I'm saying?
Are we talking about the stairs?
They're talking about these stairs.
Hey, Rich, could you answer that question? I would think it's just because it's common for employees. Could be an employee issue, but can you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we weren't clear on exactly how to label it, but essentially it's an emergency exit stairwell for our employees, whether they're coming from the retail or the cultivation upstairs. We can have it labeled as a restricted access area if that's what you guys feel comfortable with. But no, a customer couldn't just go use those stairs without. They're locked. So in order to get to the cultivation or anything like that, you would still have to have access.
Yeah, I do something like that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
So just question, would it be fair to assume that the access to that exit stair upstairs has got panic hardware on it and it's only accessible from inside out instead of a a fire, you get the panic card where you go into the stairwell, but if somebody enters the stairwell from downstairs, they can't go upstairs and get into the grow. It's locked from that direction. Okay. Pretty standard, really, for...
Yeah, I just think it should be labeled correctly.
What do you want it labeled as?
Well, it should be part of the restricted area. Those
Okay,
stairways,
so which
because you can only get to it through you can come downstairs from the cultivate, which is a restricted area.
Okay, so the north side stairs marked as restricted access.
Those stairs
I'm just,
those
for the record.
stairs there, I would say, yeah. I mean,
Roger, that sounds good.
See you later.
Then as you develop other space, if you need to label it as an emergency exit for customers, then you can do that.
That makes sense.
Right.
The fact that it's restricted then would require that there be cameras there, which probably plays to your benefit anyway.
Yeah, there's already going to be, so.
Yeah, even that since you got licensed premises, I'd throw a camera in that room anyway from the beginning. Just to have. Just one.
Yeah, we anticipate having cameras in that area.
Yeah, there is going to be cameras.
All right. Okay, any other questions about cultivate Red Lake District? Yes, there is. No, there is. You're right. Okay, do we have a motion for 21725 Red Lake District cultivate?
Motion to approve license 21725, the Red Light District with delegation.
Second. Schulte, okay. Any more discussion? Mr. Jones?
Yes. In the application for that, you show the lobby area in a blue. That's a common area, and the two restrooms downstairs, or the one restroom, you show as common areas. But on the diagram you passed out, you showed those are employees only, and you have to go through the restricted access.
That's because it's changed. So we didn't submit this diagram to supplement this bottom diagram for the main level. So we can do that too to make sure it's consistent on each set.
So when I was asking questions about public access to restrooms upstairs, those are separate.
Separate.
So downstairs you're going to have restricted access for employees only.
Correct.
For the retail. Where's the restroom for the employees of the grow?
Upstairs.
In the common area.
Right, that they can use the public
they'll
restrooms.
have to sign out for...
They don't have to sign in and out because they're not visitors.
Well, I understand that, but as an employer, you'd be checking who's going in and out of your grow, right, to make sure that they were an employee. They have to know the access code.
Well,
right, it's locked.
Yeah, they're going to have to have access to that.
Yeah, the doors are locked, so it's either going to be a key card access or a key card or PIN, I can call.
Okay. All right, but I mean, the downstairs restrooms or the upstairs are both employees.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions on Red Lake District cultivate? Okay, not hearing any on approval of license 275 Red Lake District cultivation facility in Anchorage. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Yes. Miller?
Yes.
Yes. So there you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Superb. Is Superb here? Is Superb on the phone?
Yes, good afternoon. This is Mr. Wells today with Ms. Velasco with Superb.
Okay, Mr. Wells, just 1 second. Folks on the phone, please, your phone's on mute. Somebody's talking through a voice chat. Not doing anybody any good. Please mute your phones. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Wells, hold on just a second. We have a motion for license 23652 Superb.
Motion to approve license 2652 Superb with delegation.
There's a second. Second, Mr. Schulte. All right, Mr. Wells, you got your client there with you? Is he on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. All right, and this would be Ms. Velasco?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself to us and tell us what you're going.
Okay. Hello, my name is Estelle Velasco. I have lived in Anchorage for the past 20 years, and I currently run an assisted living home. I am also a full-time student at UAA, working to complete my bachelor degree in business finance. I am applying for a marijuana retail license and a cultivation license because it seems like it's a good investment opportunity. Like many other Alaskans, I want to be one of the pioneers in this new industry. My brother owns a big building that wasn't being used for much of anything and agreed to rent it to me so I could try this venture. While I don't have much of a green thumb, I do have a strong background in retail and sales and organization management. I plan to run the office and business side of things as well as the retail store and hire others to help with the management of the grow and the cultivation of the plants. I don't really want to work in a nursing home forever and thought this would be a good opportunity to apply my education in business and experience in sales to this new industry and build a business of my own. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Velasco. Does anybody have any questions thus far on the application for Subherb Retail? So that Post Road is getting pretty densely populated with cannabis businesses, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, go ahead.
On the premises diagram, you show the main entrance into what's called a retail area, and then you have a restricted access area, I believe, that's marked sales. So you have retail 101, sales 102, then storage. There aren't any public access to the sales area, is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, Ms. Velasco, you said you run an assisted living home? Do you own it?
No, I don't. I have run it. I help run it.
Okay, and you're a college student, and you're the sole licensee on this for applying for a license for retail and a standard cultivation.
Yes.
Okay, on the statement of financial responsibility, statement of financial interest, you're the only name on there. How are you financing this? I mean, are you independently wealthy, and I'm not asking this in a funny way. This is a very significant investment. It requires an awful lot of savvy, technical, and business to run, particularly a large cultivation. Can you give us some general background there?
I am doing like a build-to-suit with my brother as well as family savings.
Okay, so your family is basically investing in it through you. Is that correct?
Personal savings. Yeah.
Through okay, you say family personal savings. We do have an issue of undisclosed financial interest in licenses.
I understand. And,
yeah, and I mean, is there anything you'd like to disclose here that should be disclosed?
The building is a family building.
The building's a family building. It's being leased to you by Velasco Investments for $2,000 a month. Is there a section in the lease there that says that they are going to build it out in the way that is needed? I see repair, I see indemnity, so you've got to have, you're going to have to be buying a lot of insurance for this building. Let's see, so where is the agreement with Velasco Investments that says we're going to build to suit on this lease payment?
I can say this to the board. It's not specifically set forth in there. If the board would like that added in, I'm more than happy to put that in.
Mr. Wells, Mr. Wells, this is certainly an issue you've got some facility with.
It's a family-owned building, and Mr. Velasco, and I've met with him too. He's a contractor, does contract work. He's out of Vegas actually, but he's here quite frequently, and it was his plan and desire to help her along and build this building out for her.
Right. But what I'm wondering, it's more than building. I mean, to go into all of a sudden you're looking at some hefty light bill, you're looking at some hefty utility bills, you're looking at bringing in some, a grower, as you said. You don't have much of a green thumb. You're looking at bringing in a grower to run it for you. I'm just really wondering. I mean, and then you say family savings as your method of I'm presuming operating capital for the first however long it takes to get enough of a harvest to.
Right, and I would point out.
Let me back off here. We're talking about the retail right now. We aren't talking about the cultivate. The motion is for the retail. So you've got business background. Do you believe that you've the financial wherewithal to open a retail store and operate down there in that area?
Yes.
While you're going to college?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any questions on the retail? Okay. Not hearing any questions on the retail. For approval, license 23652 Superb Retail with delegation in Anchorage. Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Schulte.
Yes.
Mr. Jaime.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
I'll vote yes on the retail. Okay, so do we have a motion for license 23653 Superb Cultivation?
Motion to approve license 23653 Superb Cultivation with delegation.
Is there a second? Second. Okay. Thank you. All right, so Ms. Velasco, back to and I'm not trying to badger or nothing. I've got a little bit of idea what it takes to fund an operation like this, and so could you? I'm really concerned that a college student, notwithstanding the fact that your dad owns the building and is willing to fix it up for you, based on your statement, family savings, I'm concerned that there may be a, necessity either for some disclosure, or if you just come out and say, family members are personally loaning me the money to do this, and I expect that I will be getting sufficient capital to develop the facility and, get it going and growing and employ the people that it needs. Mr. Wells, do you understand what I'm saying there?
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, and she has a fairly good amount of savings here. I've discussed this with her, and family, of course, is loaning her some money to do this and get the build-out done. But it's important to point out, too, on the cultivation, it's not necessarily going to start out, and we talked about this, as a giant standard cultivation.
Of course
it's going to start off small and grow with time as she grows, and they anticipate buying some products as well to put out there. So, they want to be prepared for a standard cultivation, but not necessarily going to be a standard cultivation to that size initially.
Well, yeah, okay. Any questions?
Go ahead.
It's
one of the things that...
I'm sorry, could you identify yourself, please?
This is Jessica Smith, legal assistant. I'm here with Ms. Velasco.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Smith.
One of the other unique arrangements between the family members was a grace period built into so that due until after the delegations are listed and she's had the opportunity to actually get in operation.
Oh, you mean on the lease payment?
Correct.
period will commencement of this lease extend to the month following the month full license issued by AMCO. Sure. Yeah. So that's yeah. Okay. Are there any questions from board members on the license, the application, the applicant?
So who owns the building? Your brother, uncle, or your father?
My brother.
Oh, your brother. Okay. And your brother lives in Las Vegas?
Yes.
Is he an Alaska resident or a Las Vegas resident?
Vegas.
Yeah, no.
A leaseor is considered a financial stake in a license, so they can live anywhere.
I'm just gonna $2,000 for the size of the building is extremely nice to fill.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just sounds like there's some income that is going to be, or funds that'll be coming into this that aren't disclosed, and it does seem kind of shady to me. So.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. Yeah. Just I hate to appear to be dogpiling, but I think these are some legitimate questions. So, for Ms. Velasco, are you stating for the record that there's no one else currently undisclosed on the application other than your brother who owns the property stands to profit from this business? Because that is a stipulation of licensure.
That's correct.
Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, not hearing any other questions on license 23653 Superb Standard Cultivate in Anchorage for approval. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Schulte? Yes. Mr. Heine?
No.
Mr. Miller? Yes. And I'm a no, so that passes 3-2. Here you go. All right. We're finished with Superb. Now we're down to ownership transfer.
Thank you all.
Fairbanks Fireweed. Yeah, go ahead and mute the phone there for a minute.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Dean and attorney for Robert Ray, and he should be on the phone.
Okay, you're going to turn the phone back on.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
Folks, please, a little respect. Turn your phones off if you're not talking to us.
Robert, are you there? Robert Ray? I was supposed to text him, and I thought we were going to go to lunch, so.
What time is it?
Almost lunchtime.
We only got 3 of these. Yeah, go ahead.
If there's no objection, I've been through these. I would make a motion to approve all 3 license transfers.
Okay.
And get them done and move on.
All right, so motion. These are all 2 LLCs, yes.
We do have a person with a concern on tab 42 who wants to speak.
Okay, all right. Then we'll do 40 and 41. Okay. So, motion to approve license transfer 11092 and 15918. Fairbanks Fireweed and Barefoot Grow.
So motion.
Okay.
Second?
Okay. Okay, Janet, Ms. Welsine, these are just conversion LLCs or what?
No, and I only represent tab 40, Robert Ray.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
And so it's Fairbanks Fireweed. He's going from 50% owner to 100% owner.
Okay. And you look at these.
And there's no changes from what you you might have just said that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no sweat. And turn the phone on for a second.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Okay, is Barefoot Grow out there, Mr. Dance? Are you with us? Jeremy Dance?
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
You missed it. I missed what? They asked for you.
Yeah, Jeremy, Mr. Dance?
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Dance.
Hi there.
Okay, we're up to this is just you're taking 100% possession of Barefoot Grow?
You got it. Yes, that's correct.
It's a transfer? Okay. All right. Just want to confirm that, make sure on the line. Okay. Is there any questions on either 11092 or 15918?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
On the Barefoot Grow Company?
Yeah.
it was, transfer was basically removing Jessica Dance, adding Jeremy Dance. But it says further on in the narrative that Jessica assists in the metric. So my question is she now an employee, that she's no longer an owner? Is she connected in this any way financially other than as an employee? Otherwise, I don't think she'd be eligible to assist in the metric. So that was my question. Is she going to become an employee, maintain her handler's card even though she's no longer an owner?
You get that, Mr. Dance?
Yeah, I heard that. So right now she's been trained metric in the past few months. Up to now, she's been solely responsible for that side of it. So as of the transfer being transferred, I'll be the one that's solely doing the metric.
Okay, so she won't be an employee?
No, she won't.
Okay. So you might want to change that. And what were you looking at? Was that the unalterated operating plan you were looking at, Mr. Jones? The 17C. Oh, it was the 17C. Okay, all right. Yeah, so you might want to change that section 5 on the MJ 17.
Okay.
If she's going to be leaving the business completely, she would no longer have, she wouldn't have any authorization to discuss the business, discuss license with AMCO.
Okay.
Okay, that'd be part of delegation. Okay, any more questions? Okay, so on the motion to approve the transfers 11092 and 15918, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, voice vote unanimous. All right, license 16184, Treasure Chest. And what do we have on here? You guys got the phone? No.
The conference is now in listen-only mode.
Oh, Miss Franklin's on the phone. Oh, all right. Okay.
The conference is no longer in listen-only mode.
No, she's here with somebody else. All right. Okay, is there a motion for license 16184, the Treasure Chest?
Motion to approve license transfer for license 16184, the Treasure Chest LLC.
Second.
Okay, go ahead and introduce yourselves to us.
Yeah, hi, I'm Eric Van Veen, owner of Van Green's Cultivation, and I'm here trying to take over majority share of Treasure Chest. This is my daughter, Erin, who does our books and make sure the finances and taxes are paid and all that good stuff. So.
Okay, so you're Mr. Kraft?
No, I'm Eric Van Veen.
You're Eric Van Veen. Okay, so. And what's the transfer here? From where to where? Okay, controlling interest from the Treasure Chest, change in ownership. Oh, okay, so you're buying in.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. And you don't have any financial interest in this?
No.
All right. Okay, so go ahead, turn the phone on. Okay, Ms. Franklin, you with us?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for recognizing me. I was contacted by an individual who submitted a comment on this transfer. He was told by the AMCO staff that they received his comment, but that the board would not receive his comment. If you look at Mr. Klinkhart's memo on this case, or he can tell you that the comment period does not close until January 26th. So I don't believe it's appropriate for the board to vote on the transfer today because I have a comment that was received within the comment period. The memo says there's no comment, and which is incorrect. And there is still time for anyone to comment on the transfer.
Okay, and are you representing the commentor, Ms. Franklin?
I was contacted by him, and it's a procedural irregularity for the board to approve it today. So I was just bringing it to the board's attention.
Okay, Director?
the person that you're representing doesn't want to file a complaint? Or do they have something that I need to follow up?
They filed a comment on the transfer. The board is required to consider comments on the transfer. The comments for this transfer the period closes January 26th. Today is January 24th. If the board approves the transfer today, they are approving the transfer without receiving comment, which is in violation of the regulations.
Ms. Franklin, this is Director Clankart again. Would you be willing to share this comment with us and for the board?
I don't have it. It was submitted in writing. And the staff acknowledged receipt of it and wrote the
Welcome to the GCI conference. Thank you. Please stand by. You are being placed into conference in listen-only mode. There are 64 participants in the conference.
We had somebody come in and say on a transfer of ownership that there's a comment, and this is less than, this is more than just converting from a couple of proprietors to an LLC. This is actually some new ownership coming in. So, okay, do you have the comment?
Yes.
Okay, what's the board's pleasure? Would you like to hear the comment?
Yes.
Okay, so do I. All right, go ahead and read it.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so this is the comment. Dear Mr. James Hulsher, the people who were directly and indirectly associated with this incident are as follows: Eric Van Veen, Kathy Van Veen, and Richard M. Davis. I wanted to officially let you know in writing that product has been diverted from Greenleaf's cultivation facility in Sitka, license 10066. I did call AMCO investigator Johnson and Juneau on or about the 9/17/2017 to let him know the grow had been sabotaged by Eric Van Veen between the dates of 9/1/17 and 9/16/17. At the time, I was not aware of the product being diverted. Fast forward months later, and it has become clear Eric also switched tags on mother plants, which wasn't obvious until our latest crops were done flowering. In an effort to find out which tags had been switched, I reviewed our security footage. At this point, I observed Eric diverting product. I took the liberty of backing up all the footage between these dates and can provide them upon request. On the video, among other things, you'll find Eric stealing equipment and genetics, killing mother plants, and diverting flower from drying racks. In the flower rooms, Eric was observed cutting tops off plants were on the verge of being harvested. I'm working with Metric, ticket number 156226, to sort out the mixing of tags and conducting a full cleaning of the license. It should be noted that after Kathy, Eric's willful termination, they started working for Weed Dude's retail marijuana store in Sitka, and to the best of my knowledge, still are employed with them. Although Eric did a majority of the damage, there was other fraud in relation to the timesheets by Kathy, Eric, and Richard. It is evident by the video they were not working for the last pay period Greenleaf paid them for. I know there isn't a way to revoke marijuana handler permits at this time, but as a licensee, I urge AMCO to adopt emergency measures that would prevent these bad actors from continuing to work in the industry. Yes. That was Aaron Bean, CEO, Greenleaf.
Investigator Johnson.
Yes, this is Investigator Johnson. I'm the Southeast Investigator for AMCO.
Okay, thanks. Have you received this email from Mr. Bean?
Yes, I received this.
Have you looked into it? Have you followed up?
Yes. Before I thought it was coming in here, I was going to put in a memo next week. I have requested video from Aaron Bean of the video that he mentioned. Since 2017, I have gotten 2 hard drives from him, both of which show about 7 cameras. I have spoke with Eric Van Veen. I believe they had close to 48 cameras in there of Greenleaf, and I've received 7 of which basically show dark rooms. There was nothing in there. He said that there was plants destroyed, so because we thought, well, this is destruction of property, it could go to Sitka Police Department. We advised Sitka Police Department. They said they would look into it. They contacted Mr. Bean, and he never responded to them. He never showed up for any interviews, never gave them any video, anything like that, so Sitka PD dropped the case.
And to make it clear, we're talking about Greenleaf and Sitka, but license transfer here is for Craig. So, Mr. Van Veen, do you have any? Oh,
Mr. Chairman, may I also say I'm not trying to be biased towards anyone, but Mr. Van Veen has been a licensee with Van Greens since after all this. He has never received a notice of violation with me. He's been a very good licensee.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Well, we noted the concern. Are you operating anything in Sitka right now? Good. Good on.
Yeah, we have a standard cultivation. We've been in business for 14 months or a little over a year.
And that's Van Greens.
Yes.
Okay. All right. What was your association with Greenleaf? Just working for him?
No.
Do you have some
I don't
interest
know
in that
if
one?
I should disclose all this.
If there's
Aaron's my brother-in-law, and I don't want to say anything bad or hurt him or.
Okay. Yeah, no, we've danced with that Sitka show many times. Not saying that in a prejudicial manner to Mr. Bean, but there's Sitka's always interesting for us. Okay. All right. So so you're buying into this. So you're taking Mr. Wright's 50%. And what's 50 take away 33? 27% or something, right? To give you the 67?
Yeah, 67%.
Put you at 67.
That's 33
okay.
to get.
All right. So Mr. Wright's getting out.
Yeah, yeah. And he owns a cultivation as well.
All right. Okay. Any questions? Go ahead, Ms. Shirley.
Just a question for council. So you've heard the entire discussion. Are you comfortable that the board is okay taking action on this transfer in light of the not yet expired comment period and the fact that we've heard the comment and discussed it?
Well, my recommendation is approve with delegation. Then you have 2 more days. If you get more comments, the director can bring it back to you for reconsideration.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? All right, then, and I believe the motion was with delegation anyway. So for license 16184, the Treasure Chest LLC, transfer of ownership, or Mr. Wright, his whole 50% going to Mr. Van Veen, and however much of Mr. Kraft's going to his to give Mr. Van Veen 67%, Mr. Kraft 32%. With delegation, Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Schulte?
Yes.
Mr. Jaime?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm a yes, so there you go.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, now we'll go to lunch. Oh, and when we come back, we can be going even faster. Yeah, basically. We got these 3 doors. We do them.
Mark, no. Did you really?
Oh, Mr. Bourne, 420 on Main, he was in tab 15.
Yes, thank you. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I said we try to get him in the morning.
Maybe we get
yes,
back.
Please remind me. Absolutely. Thank you.
There's a pizza place down here.